Alright, this is section 1-3, part C video. Notice that if you're following along on your smart notebook that was uploaded through the Lumens, that I've skipped ahead a couple of pages now. So it walks you through page by page how to do that construction, and I've just jumped ahead to the angle addition postulate. And again, it has a name, so it must be pretty important. We're probably going to use it over and over and over again. It works just about the same way that the segment addition postulate works. So we're going to add the two small pieces to equal the big piece, just like we did in the segment addition postulate. So it says that S is in the interior of angle PQR. Then the measure of angle PQS plus angle SQR is going to equal the big measure of PQR. So I can add this little part plus this little part to equal the whole. Now there's an example right down here on the bottom of this page. And I highly suggest, if you don't have a diagram to go along with the information, that you definitely draw the diagram. So if it says point Z is in the interior of any angle, you'd put a point Z somewhere on the inside of the angle and draw the angle and draw your ray going through that point. Alright, well this one matches up with this, so I'm going to go ahead and label what I know. So I have RQS is 98 degrees, so I'm going to put 98 right here. I'm going to go ahead and put 32 for SQP, so 32 degrees right here. And again, if I add the two small pieces, then that equals the big piece. So all I have to do to figure out this example is add 98 plus 32, and that's going to give me 130 degrees. Alright, at this time I want you to go ahead and pause the video and do problems 8, 16, and 30 from page 24, and then restart the video when you're done with that. Angle bisector is a ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. So notice here that we have an angle that is all in black, and then we have the angle bisector is this ray that comes out in the dotted line here. And we've got two separate arcs marked here because we know the top angle is going to be congruent or the same measure as this bottom angle. So this angle's measure is exactly the same as this angle's measure. And the first thing we're going to do with that is learn how to do the construction of the angle bisectors. So go ahead and open up a page in your smart notebook and go ahead and use the rays to go ahead and mark an angle that we're going to construct the angle bisector of. I'm going to get this out of the way. I don't know what it's doing there. Alright, so this is the angle that I'm going to create the angle bisector of, and this one starts a little bit differently. We're going to take the compass, we're going to put the point right on the vertex, and we're going to open it up about halfway or a little over of this angle, and we're going to mark an arc that again intersects both sides of your angle. Now we're going to take the compass and put the point right on the first intersection of the initial side and the arc. Maybe open it up a touch wider. And we're going to mark an arc on the interior of the angle, just about like so there. And we're going to keep that measure on our compass, so we're not going to play around with this side. We're going to come over and put the point up on the other intersection, the terminal side of the angle. We're going to put that end point right there, and we're going to mark that same arc. Notice that they'll intersect like so. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call the vertex of my original angle, let's call it A, and then this point of intersection of these two arcs, let's call that B. And I'm just going to take my straight edge now, and I'm going to connect a line, or a ray I guess, between A and B, and that's going to be our angle bisector. Now if you notice on this angle looks the same as this angle, so these two should be congruent. So why don't you practice that once on your notes, and again do it once on your homework. You can do it on the same soft notebook that you did the copy and the angle construction on. Alright, I'm going to jump ahead. It just walks you step by step through that in the Smart Notebook lesson. So I'm going to jump ahead to the example that uses the angle bisector. It says that KM bisects angle JKL. So I'm going to go ahead and mark on my diagram that this angle is congruent with this angle. If that bisects it, that's what that tells me. Then it says that the measure of angle JKM is 4x plus 6. And it says that the measure of angle MKL is 7x minus 12. Well, if this is the angle bisector, I know that this measure has to equal this measure. So to set up your equation, you're going to put 4x plus 6, the top one, is equal to this bottom one, which is 7x minus 12. And again, it's just algebra work to figure this out from here, what x is. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4x to bring my x's to the same side. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So this will be 3x here. I'm going to drop that minus 12. I'm going to drop the 6. Now I have to get rid of that 12, so I've got to add 12 to both sides. So we'll add out of this side. It will give me 18 on the left-hand side. I'm going to drop the 3x. So now I have to get rid of the 3 by doing its opposite. So if it's multiplied times x, I have to divide by x. And now I know what x equals. Well, if you notice, the question actually asks what the measure of JKM is. So I'm still going to have to take what x is equal to and plug it in for the x for JKM. So I'm going to have 4 times 6 plus 6. So multiplication comes before addition, and then 24 plus 6 will go ahead and give me 30. So the measure of angle JKM equals 30 degrees. Go ahead and mark that degrees because there is another angle measure. Alright, at this time, go ahead and do page 10 and 18, or sorry, problems 10 and 18 from page 24. And here's the up one, down ones from today. If we finish this video set today, then go ahead and ask me how we did, and we might eliminate 1 or 2 questions from that. Now, if you received a box today, go ahead and pick out in your head which one you want and call it before this video starts, and I'll reveal what you got. Alright, like always, put your box points at the top of your paper if you want credit for them. And this will conclude section 1-3.